Stretch. Yo, what's up, Thug? We've got the final episode, dude, of Alien Earth tonight. Quest loot? Fuck the quest loot. We're just gonna be skilling. We're just gonna be skilling. Ain't nothing special about tonight's stream. I'm just super stoked to be able to watch the final episode of Alien Earth. Honestly, low key, that is what I'm fucking here for. That is what I'm here for, mate. Is Rocky already sleeping? Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm not cooking no steak tonight, so that little cocksucker is definitely not gonna be around. That's for fucking sure. A little cock smoking Fruit Loop. Rock the cock. Yo, check this out, Thug Duck. You know how I have my pet Rocky? Well, I turned him red, just like Rocky. Isn't that cool? Isn't that fucking cool, dude? He's such a rat. Yeah, he's my rat. He's my rat. What'd you get up to today, Mr. Duck? Just chilling. You got work tomorrow? Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Gonna go make some moolah. Fuck, man. You want to know what I'm thinking of doing? I think I'm going into work on an oil rig in Alberta or some shit. It's almost all careers and worldwide, yeah. It's because they just want people to sit at home and be fucking stuck under their thumb, you know what I mean? Well, I can't quit this fucking bullshit job that I have now. Entry level jobs want years of experience. The good thing is I already have years of experience in the oil industry. So, you know what I mean? Oil pay as well. That's what I'm trying to get into. Well, this is the website that I was checking out. It's worse, way worse in Canada. Way worse in Canada right now. This is the shit that I'm trying to get into. 25 to 28 an hour entry. They pay for everything. Will need, got it. Or willingness to obtain, willing to get it. Only problem I'm having with this is the drug, alcohol, blood, lead, audiogram. I gotta stop smoking fucking dope, dude. I need to stop smoking fucking dope if I'm gonna do this. But this is what I plan on doing, brother. Not even gonna lie. Maybe just drink beer. I can't. I don't even like drinking. Really. No previous experience necessary. Preferred experience in road construction or I think this is what I'm gonna do, man. I think that's my escape. That's how I'll eventually be able to afford a house and shit. Doing this, I really think that's what I gotta do, Thug Duck. I'm not gonna like it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be hard, grueling work, but I think I just gotta do it. I think I just gotta do it, buddy. Buy a good lawyer. Yup, yep, exactly. Exactly, Mr. Duck. That might be the way out of this. Yeah, I think it's my only route. I fucked my life up, dude. I think it's the only way. I think it is the only way, Mr. Duck. What, things will get better for us? I've got more faith in things getting better for you, brother, than things getting better for me, I'll be honest. My life's in fucking shambles right now. We got that going for us. Fuck, dude, I'm not even that young though. Like, I wish I was 22 again. Like, and then I could just like, I should have fucking just did this shit originally. I wish I was 22 and just flying out there. Fuck, dude, I could have like already had a house and shit. But you know, can't dwell on the past. Just gotta look to the fucking future. It's my goal, man. Within the next 5 years, I want to get this fucking job. Fly in, fly out in Alberta. That'd be sick. And then fucking just buy a house. Not one person without regrets. Yeah, that's fair. That's adequate for the job market to be shit. Yeah, I mean, a lot of shit that's going wrong is just out of our control. You know what I mean? There's just like not much we can do. At this point, we just gotta find something to pay the bills and help save money. It's like I found a great job. I mean, I might have found one. Doesn't mean I'm gonna get accepted into it, though. You know what I mean? I just gotta fucking boast about my fucking years of experience leading crews and bullshit like that. Like I just gotta kind of honestly, I just gotta kind of bullshit my way into this job. I'm being honest. Fluff myself up a bit. What's hard, round, and has a head on it? My fucking cock. Oh, a quarter. Yeah, a quarter. That too. Chillin', shiny boy. What are you saying, buddy? Just low key waiting for my dinner to be done. I'm pretty sure it just. Nah, shit decided to go to DNS for the night. Was bored sitting at the house, so I came down to chill for a bit. Daryl Dixon show. Isn't that like The Walking Dead or something like that? Sorry, I thought I was locked up. At least you're honest. Wait, homeboy doesn't die in The Walking Dead? I thought that fucking guy dies in The Walking Dead. I thought everyone died in The Walking Dead. Paying no bills for for real. If there was ever a time to be locked up, it would definitely be fucking 28, 2028, 2008 when the fucking stock market and shit crashed. No, it was Rick and 90% of everyone else. Oh shit. Rickle the Pickle dies? What? I thought he had his own movies or some shit. I thought they made like a Walking Dead movie or some shit like that. Oh, word. Nice. Good that you two are still together. That's crazy, bro. Love thicker than blood. Oh, baby, I like it the way you're moving on the floor. Come on and give me some more. Damn, yeah. Damn. That's fucking ass there, Sean. Ain't no fucking way, bro. That's fucking cringe. Oh yeah, dude, that man never wants to see the inside of a fucking cell ever again. I'll tell you right now. For another 5 years, Jesus Christ. Sorry to hear that, brother. Okay, this time my food's actually done. So now I gotta go downstairs and grab it. I wanna harvest this bullshit first, though. Food am I gonna need? Some chicken and broccoli. I'd normally have rice, I was just too lazy to make the rice. Some chicken. Macaron, chacaron. Alright, I'll be right back, gentlemen. Hey, gentlemen. Yeah, that's crazy, Sean. They recorded themselves smoking dope. Fucking kids these days, man. Fucking kids these days, man. They never fucking learn. Don't stream a fucking crime. Don't fucking record a crime. Don't fucking do a crime. These fucking kids nowadays, man. I swear. We're going with a big webcam tonight because I'm watching this fucking Alien Earth episode. And yeah, here we go. Oh, it's his body. No shot. My boy with the chest bracer. Oh, dude. Poor guy got the shit done to the stick. He was my favorite character, too. But what's the point of even showing that? That doesn't even make sense. Why would the fucking xenomorph go back over to his body? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, I gotta figure out something here. 78 courses. Pollen. What? I gotta go all the way down here, bro. Damn it, I gotta go back. No fucking way, bro. Oh, dude, this is gonna be a good fucking episode. There's no way, bro. Fuck off with that shit. Dude, she should be dead. Nah, man. Nah, they started off so strong and they go into this bullshit right away. Fuck off, man. Come on, dude. Naked gaming, bro. I'm wearing boxers and socks. Sock on my cock, yep. Dude, what the fuck am I watching right now? This is so confusing. Dude, he's gonna do it. Rune skirt is the exact same as rune play legs, except for your girl. Y'all like the pumpkin pie blizzard? No, I don't like pumpkin flavored stuff unless it's like just straight pumpkin, roasted pumpkin. You're ever gonna make a bowl of cereal? Nice. Dude, this fucking show is so fucking good, boys. There's some questionable shit that happens, but like the fucking good moments in this show are insane. Like oh my god, it's so good. Alien Earth. That's after the show. Dude, like the morality and everything they're doing, and like just like, dude, I don't know, bro. It's fucking insane. The shit it's got you quite me questioning and stuff. Like, it's less like a scary show, honestly, and more like a mind fuck. That makes you wonder a lot of questions. Like, it's fucked. I don't even know how to describe it. They should be afraid of us. I'm good, boys. I'm good. I'm good. Bro, this fucking is insane. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. My cereal of choice is Frosted Flakes or Honey Nut Cheerios. I've never been a big fan of Apple Jacks. Dude, this is fucking insane. This is a fucking great show. Dude, this is insane. It's her. It's gonna fucking definitely be her. He tries and gives the eye. He's gonna put the eyeball in this bitch. On God, bro. On God. He's gonna put the eyeball in this bitch. No fucking way. XP left 48K. Dude, oh my fucking God. This is insane. Yo, what's up, Limbo? I could have never predicted some shit like this, bro. This is way better than I ever anticipated. Dude, oh my fucking God, man. Playing some Skyrim, yeah, that's what's up. Oh, they beat the fuck out of this man. Oh my God. His fucking face is swollen shut. There's nothing left. Yeah, I'm fucking bashed, baked, whatever you want to call it. I'm fucking cooked. Oh, homie's gonna get munched right here. I smoked a fat joint. I'm cooked. Redeem toke? Nah, I'm not toke. I don't have a bong anymore. I'm not rolling up another joint. I just smoked one. Yeah, you guys smoke for me. The elevator's gonna stop, of course, because Wendy's controlling it. What? Bro! Dude, that's insane! Bro, Sean, I swear to God, you gotta watch this fucking show, bro. This shit is mind-boggling, bro. Even if you don't like Alien, like, dude, the Alien isn't even the best part of this show, and this shit's about supposed to be about the fucking alien. Like, dude, I swear to God. Yeah, this shit's insane. Dude, this show's insane, Sean. Especially, especially if you like aliens, like in the lore of Alien. It should have been like episode one expose. It feels though that kind of just ruined the flow of the show right there. That's my fucking dog. You know what? Now I gotta fucking smoke. My man just made me have to smoke another toke there, boys. Like, come on now. Fuck. Fill me up a little Pinskis. Nice little Pinskis right here. I knew it. I fucking knew it, bro. Since he threw the ball. Since he threw the ball in like episode 1 or 2, I fucking knew that was his father. Like as a synth. Phenomenal. He's gonna put the eye in him. No fucking way, bro. Kind of is. Oh, that. Oh, that's supposed to be like a little alien head right there. I get it. Oh, let's go. Oh shit, bro. There's no fucking way, bro. Homeboy, so fucked. Dude, what a smart motherfucker. Oh shit. Sean, peace out, buddy. It was so good. What? Bro, why is... I don't know. Homie just said I think I pissed myself. Hmm. The plant got out. Sick. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's all good. That's fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, this show's insane, bro. What the fuck? No way. It's going in the dead body? Streaming. I'd basically be doing... I'd make exactly what I make now, streaming. Yeah, streaming. There used to be a one zombies. It's just 100 dead even. Yo, what? Nah, dude, you can't end it like that. You can't end it like that. Are you fucking me? Dog. You can't end it like you cannot end it like that, bro. You can't end it like that, bro. Yeah, a little bit. Yo, peace out, Limbo. Stay safe. Bro. Am I scoping the quests for tonight? Yeah, I'm just doing some. I'm literally doing this, brother, because I gotta get 74 for a shortcut that's just gonna save me like so much time. I get 74 agility. October? Maybe. I don't know. I was thinking of doing trying moon around 100, 1 HP. It's actually crazy. Is it a dangerous part of the map? Nah, not at all, bro. Just hard to get to. This is all the way like down here, and you gotta go across like the desert and shit. And when you walk across the desert, unless you have like water sacks in your backpack, it would take a little bit of damage. No, I'm doing agility, so I'm just basically training my run. Agility makes it so you can run longer and like take shortcuts and stuff. You know what I mean? You, baby. Quiet night, yeah.
Killing him, and Boy gave him a new
Indeed it
lung. As
is.
we know though, Morrow continued with his xenomorph and it got free, and Boy used the lung to create another creature. So it's not really something Joe should be grateful for. He smiles when he talks about a rush and says, feels good, doesn't it? I think that Morrow may end up as a hybrid down the line, as he wants to be more than human. The guilt and sorrow that he feels for his daughter will possibly be something that can eventually be erased. In episode 2, he said of the Sins how he wished to be a machine, as being human comes with a lot of pain. He clearly wants to get rid of his humanity, and that's something that can be done to the hybrids. Morrow talks about the high price he paid for being saved by Yutani, and that everything comes with a cost. Saying everything doesn't begin to cover it, we know he's lost not only time with his daughter, but also 65 years of his life. So it's like, what is he even living for at the moment? Joe had to do what Adam/Boy asked of him, or he would have had to pay the cost for his new lung and lose access to his sister. Morrow also had a full ride scholarship for his daughter, but ultimately it just led to more pain. So they both highlight the Faustian deals and how you never really get what you want. On the flip side of this, Morrow and Boy both want the specimens for their own gain. One wants to use them and make new unknown horrors, while one wants to give them to his corporate overlords. Just the absolute worst type of co-worker you can have. Proper Randall from Recess, this guy. Joining the soldiers, we then hear they want to get to the armory and stack up with the big guns. They've clearly realized the weapons they've got are ineffective against the Xenomorph and want something more powerful. I did also wonder if Boy purposely gave them less impactful ones because they could potentially damage the synths. Last week they talked about them being the merchandise, and had they shot them on the dock, then yeah, would have cost like $12 billion.
We're down to our last buck. How do you say give me some change in Portuguese?
Muito obrigado.
It's too late.
Obrigado.
There they go.
Ominously, they then head to the lift, which gave me major Shining vibes. The kids earlier said that they were ghosts, and Wendy is of course a name that also comes from the story. The kids basically prank them that the lift's about to self-destruct, and it leads to a very hilarious scene. Cutting to different feeds, I love how Kirsch is just sitting there carrying on with his work. Contrasting this though, we have Dame Sylvia, who's absolutely going through it. Haunted by echoes of the past, she's racked with guilt. It's like some sort of Edgar Allan Poe story, similar to The Telltale Heart. Wendy then finally cuts to her brother as Smee asks if she's mad at him. He rightfully says that Nibs killed someone though, and implies that Joe was right to shoot her. It's here that we then get a sort of flashback where Joe reads a letter from her. It seems to be really early days in her chemo though, as she still has hair. It mirrors the scene with Morrow and the Maginot in episode 5, and there we saw him remember his daughter and read from her letters. As mentioned, he seemingly had to do awful things to ensure she had the best possible chance at life. He's killed since, done lots of bad things on the Maginot, and in the end his daughter's just died in a fire. Joe has also seemingly done bad things under the contract with Prodigy. While his letters read out, we can see his squad seem to put down protests by the citizens. Boy rules over them, and they likely have zero agency. Democracy is dead, they can't vote or oust him, and in the end, they basically live in this huge company town. Joe was victim to this as well, as he was also told he couldn't leave, which has likely happened to these citizens. Protests happen at a checkpoint, and it reminded me a lot of The Last of Us. While he's a medic, he is still complicit in helping put the boot on the working man's neck. We know that Joe's dad was sick, and he was away when both his sister and dad needed him the most. Just like Morrow, a loved one died while he was out working in this late-stage capitalist hellscape. In the letter, we hear how Wendy says she wishes he could come home, but she's just a kid and has no idea he's locked into this construct for life.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
Both the families wanted their loved one back from work, but that's not the way the world works. The Prodigy staff's day then gets a lot worse as she unlocks their cell after remembering how much she loves her brother. Morrow plays it cool, asks for a cigar, and then knocks out the guard. This is something we've seen him smoke a lot, and it plays into how he promises to burn the place to the ground, which makes me wonder, is he gonna like cover the place in petrol and smoke a cigar and throw it and basically set fire to the island? What a great scene if they steal it, and well, one credit. For the meantime though, he just doesn't seem to want to hurt the kids directly. He just wants his toys back. The guard's uniform here, namely the cap, also looks a lot like what the Marines wore on the briefing scene during Aliens. We then get a badass shot as he basically smashes off the hand restraint and loads up the gun. Kirsch is his first target, and he heads to the lab, which is where we see the body of Tootles. Rather than being buried though, he's just pushed out the way like a broken iPhone or something. Now, I think Kirsch might actually be trying to fix his mind. Last week he said theoretically it might be possible, and it does appear to be that sort of device. Morrow then arrives and Kirsch lets off a shot which damages the glass holding the plant. This escapes, so it's a nice split-second shot to let us know how that happened. The fight is great though, and I love the way they have Morrow fight with pretty much nothing but his strong hand. Oh, my strong hand. He ends up smashing Kirsch like the like button, and we see the white blood dripping out his mouth. Morrow then rattles off about John Henry. Known as the most powerful and fastest man who worked the railroad, he apparently raced against a steam-powered rock drill. Henry won, but ultimately his heart gave out from stress. Now, how this could apply to the show is that Morrow is desperate to prove he's better than Kirsch. Eventually, I think this will come at the cost of his life though, and I did think he died here trying to show he was better. The plant escapes, and then Kirsch puts him in a sleeper hold, but ultimately he survives. This could play into the Asimov law of robotics and how synths are actually unable to harm humans. And yeah, I breathed a sigh of relief when he was still alive, because I did not want to say goodbye just yet. Also, all that milk on your clothes, Kirsch, you're gonna need some new ones. Why not check out our merch store right below the video? There we've got our alien inspired clothes and have this lovely isolation one that you can see right behind me here. We've also just launched 2 brand new ones as well. The first of these is our Wendy synth one, which is based off some of the concept art from the show. We also have one of my favorite designs, which is the bloody sheepmate with the eye. Lots of discounts on there, and the more you buy, the more you get off. For example, you buy multiple shirts, you get 20% off, and it all goes towards helping videos like this get made, so thank you for all your support. Now, I love how we cut to Wendy watching the fight, looking bored as the battle goes to the ground. Yeah, which I agree, mate, the ground fights are very dull. It's here that Boy then comes in to taunt his hybrids. We get a long ominous shot of the corridor akin to the opening moments of Alien. We then watch as the xenomorph heads back into the facility via the waste pipe. The creature used the vents on the Nostromo and the pipelines at Hadley's Hope. So it's just nice to continue the idea they use tunnels and pipe work to get around. Boy's very smug though, and he mentions how the kids are sad and locked in a cage with no one to play with. Curly then calls him a liar and finally shows she's breaking free of his control. Wendy, however, snaps her fingers and opens up the door, which instantly scares Boy. However, he does also seem a little impressed by it. Snapping your fingers is a command that often shows who's really in control and a way to basically cut through the noise in a minuscule gesture. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, I could do this with just a click of my fingers, and it's a great way to show dominance that, yeah, Wendy definitely possesses here. Also potentially why they had the snap in Marvel, but moving on. Now, it's here that we get some major backstory for the boy genius. He reveals that he in fact killed his father.
When I was little, my daddy was a drunk.
Which reminded me of one of Joker's monologues in The Dark Knight. Boy looked down on
Yeah,
him as
that's what
he
I
was an
thought.
alcoholic that abused him, and this thrust him forward to make his first synth at the age of 6. Turns out that Adam Eanes was said machine, and it's implied that he killed Boy's father. Now, when Morrow looked over his history, we could see some parts of an article. This said that Boy had been in a car crash which had led to the death of his ... which then left a mystery in the air. The journalist wondered why he'd not just used one of his synths to drive, which was something that the public kind of speculated about. However, if this was his father, then it dates his dad's death after his work had already began. So it might not have even been his dad in that article, and I feel like he may have had a hand in other people's deaths. After all, we see how cavalier that he is. He might have even kept Adam around and then faked his death to get the reins of the company. But what we learn is that this new toy became his father, and he kept up the charade. Mainly because no one would take a 6-year-old seriously in the world of business. Adam was the figurehead while he did all the work in the background. Presumably, this was until he became of age and then took over. But this explains why he's obsessed with children's minds, as he knows from personal experience how good their imaginations are. It also explains his disdain for adults and why he wants people to stay as kids forever. Also wonder if Adam's identical looking to his dad, and then they basically staged a car crash. He took over, and then they were like, yeah, it must have just been his father the whole time. But we're getting off track there, and what we do know is the mask is slipping heavily, as he says the kids are just floor models, and basically gives a sales speech. They've just been a way to make money from this entire time, and he treated them well as long as they behaved. The minute the money started to be at risk, he locked them up and then started berating them. He's become abusive, just like his own father, and in a twist of irony, they've now replaced him. Nibs then just goes a bit mental, and it all kicks off. This scene though might be one of my favorites in the show, and Wendy says,
Run.
The kids are having fun with it as Smee pretends to be a beast, which is something that Nibs has also done to scare the humans in the last 2 episodes. It also reminds me heavily of Sid's toys in Toy Story. Each one of the kids then goes and gets revenge on the one who hurt them. Nibs goes after Sylvia's revenge for deleting her memory, and Wendy goes after Boy, while Smee and Slightly take on Kirsch and Morrow. Curly goes to take out the guards and then says that her name's Jane, reclaiming who she once was. We also get the lights set to strobe mode, with strobe lights being a big thing in the Alien franchise. The music is superb though, and it sounds a lot like the climax in Aliens. She says no one touches her brother, and we then cut to him in Wendy's room. We see Adam hitting the Alfred Hitchcock pose, and he's extremely intimidating. He once more offers a deal that seems great on the surface, but ultimately it's got a hidden side to it.
I think you'll like what he has to say.
The last time the pair had a tete-a-tete, Joe was forced to stay on the island and observe his sister. And yet, this deal isn't much better. The eye forcibly inserting itself into a person also fits well with the original movie's theme of forced birth. We then join Slightly and Smee, and I love how they pass by the mold, which we can see has now grown even more. The xenomorphs also running rampant in the corridors, while Nibs continues her therapy session. It builds off the back of last time they were here, and is sort of a continuation of her attack. Arriving at Kerr, she then hands over what sort of looks like rosary beads. These are in fact what comes from out the synths, and they surrounded Ash and Alien after he was destroyed. We also saw them with the damaged bishop in Alien 3. I think though, because of their look, they have a lot of religious symbolism to them, and ultimately playing to the themes of gods and those who are held captive by them. Morrow ultimately tells Slightly he didn't hurt his mother, but it doesn't seem like he cares, showing his further detachment from humanity. That's all he was bothered about last week, but now he's ready to deal out vengeance. Joe is then taken to Boy's office, and we see the sheep chambers open. Adam says they're not monsters and that they know his sister has rights, which is obviously a lie. Joe then quips that his lung is free, but they're gonna take everything else, which kind of plays off his conversation with Morrow. But yeah, it all kicks off, and the OSRS eyes up its victim, Eyes up its victim, I said. Eyes up his victim. What do you mean you don't think that's funny? As mentioned though, Joe is a survivor. He's gonna make it. I love the way the sheep just drops to the ground as the eye escapes, and Joe makes a break for the chamber. However, it attempts to go in the feeding hole, which is where we see the hate from last week. Using its slingshot abilities, it goes for his face, and when he's able to break in just in time. However, Adam's there to throw down. Reminds me heavily of the first Alien movie, and there we saw Ash fight against Ripley before the rest of the crew came and helped her defeat the synth. I do feel like Adam was programmed to be able to harm humans, which in the end is how he hurt Boy's dad. Clearly though, being born an adult has made him dislike kids. Adam says he didn't see the point in creating forever children and couldn't stand an eternity of "are we there yet?" Whew, and as a parent, mate, I agree. Atom Eanes for president. Like, the minute we get out the driveway, mate, my kids are like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Why aren't we there yet? We'll be there soon. We'll be there soon. Don't make a robot kill me though. I love you, kids." Luckily, our girl hits an almighty volley and knocks out the OSRS for now.
Go!
Now, we then see she's unlocked a brand new superpower as she manages to stop Adam in his tracks. Something which I feel is taken right out of Westworld.
I need assistance.
Freeze all motor functions.
He's also on the network like every other piece of tech in the building, and thus able to be controlled. Again, like Westworld, she says she gets to say what happens now, and you don't get to hurt us anymore. In that show, Dolores became self-aware and helped the rest of the host robots rise up and fight against the humans. Wendy is now doing the same thing, and I'm not at all mad that Noah Hawley's lifting stuff from that show, because yeah, at this point, it's difficult to think of a better show discussing AI. Not to get too spoiler on that series, but latter seasons of Westworld also had similar themes of human minds being put into machines. I also wonder if they're going to put her on a similar path to Dolores, and that as she gets into the real world, her powers start evolving. Like, if she can access networks here without issue, then she might be able to do it to others. The siblings then discuss Joe shooting Nibs, and he justifies it by saying she was hurting his friends. They basically talk about how they're supposed to be helping people, and Wendy asks,
Are you saying Nibs isn't people?
she's furious at what happened and says, "Maybe you should call me it." At this point, he then belittles her by saying that the world is complicated and she sounds like a child.
I didn't make the world. You sound like a child.
To him, she has a very simplistic idea of the world. To her, you must be really nice, hit the thumbs up, do good things, but in reality, the world doesn't work like that. We saw earlier how Joe was at the side of a protest and he was stuck in this awful job despite wanting to go to medical school, which is where he could have helped people. To him, that's the way the world works and things are just complicated.
Don't say complicated.
People will be left powerless, and I think her pushing Adam over represents how she has the ability to destroy everything. Joe then says how the xenomorphs see them as food. This is a line which is very similar to something Kirsch said earlier in the season. He said how humans didn't see themselves as food anymore, but there's always something bigger and stronger out there that will eat you if it's given the chance. But Wendy thinks she can tame them, create world peace, and basically have you chilling with your alien bro. Ultimately, I don't think that will happen though, and I think she's very naive. We then see Boy skipping through the compound wearing a bulletproof vest. Obviously, you know, that'll be useless, mate, and he then comes face to face with the xenomorph. I love this scene and how we see it on the ceiling and then get all the flashing lights. This is what Boy's quest for a conversation's led to, and he ends up on the floor having just pissed his pants. Wendy and Joe also enter the haunts. This is very akin to the original score for Alien. The soldiers then come in and the creature rips them apart. In the lab, we then see Joe's squad mates enter and get this little callback to Aliens.
Stay frosty.
Yeah, it's,
Out shape. But stay frosty.
I love how you can see Siberian has a cast in her arm as well, as obviously it was damaged from fighting the hybrids in the last episode. Xenomorph tables also completely bent out of shape, having become more and more melted as time goes on. The corpse of the creature is still smoking away, and it's just going to keep eating into the floor. The plant then ends up swallowing Siberian, and it sort of acts like a giant stingray. It crushes her up and is basically a Venus flytrap on steroids. The guard is then knocked out by Curly, and we journey to the beach to see the eye infecting Arthur. I cannot wait for season 2, and I love how it actually looked like a normal eye. I feel like Dame might not even realize he's dead at first, and then we'll finally see the truth and be absolutely horrified. In the end, the Yutani troops swoop in, and Wendy walks around the cell. She berates Dame for putting 6 kids in the ground and ultimately accepts her death, and kind of that she's grown into something more. I love how Kirsch is just conked out, Eanes has his hands tied behind his back, literally, and Morrow is once more tied up, with extra measures this time. Wendy says Boy was never Peter Pan because he was never a boy, he's always been a man. And I'm not a rapper. He's a mean, angry little man who's let hate consume him. Wendy wants to heal the world with love and embrace every form of life. Whether it's a scorpion at the start or the xenomorph now, she's going to try and be better. We close out wondering how long the piece is gonna last, and they say that they want to rule. Boy laughs, but Cho and Dame look very apprehensive. I think deep down they know that Wendy's views are far too simplistic, and ultimately there's no way to keep a lid on this. Ultimately, it will all come crashing down, and we close out to Animal by Pearl Jam. It's a banging track from their 1994 record Versus. This was a follow-up to their breakout hit album 10. Thankfully, after last week, this might be one of the easiest tracks to discuss. I've put the lyrics on the screen, so I'm not just reading them, but they are very, very straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 1 is quite clearly 5 hybrids versus Boy Cavalier. At 39:36 in the episode, we see the hybrids with Boy in the middle of them. The album was also originally going to be called 5 Against 1. They saw it as the 5 band members against the world and the industry, and were trying to retain their soul and selves, much like the kids are doing here. In the end, they win the fight against their corporate overlords, and if only Pearl Jam would have done the same thing to Ticketmaster. The lyrics then go on to say, "I'd rather be with an animal." In a way, it's what Wendy said to Joe, as she'd rather be with the alien xenomorph. They have no ulterior motives like the complicated humans. The album cover also features an Angora goat, and you can make a loose connection between that and the sheep who had the oculus in its eye socket. And thus ends our music analysis. Would you like to subscribe to my music analysis channel? In the end, that closes out the season, and I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on it below. In the end, I think it was a pretty solid start, and though I had my problems with some of the characterizations, I loved some of the things explored here. Though it started off as a very by the number, like shot-for-shot recreation of the original, I like that Hawley evolved things and took it in a new direction. And ultimately,
yeah,
I'm
honestly,
excited to
that's
see
how
where
I
we're
feel.
going.
It feels like kind of like nothing happened. It was a good episode, but it's just like, fuck, dude. They didn't resolve anything, and it's the fucking season final. What the hell, it's...
Donald Trump
Phone call from the United Nations.
broke an escalator working its way into his grievances at the podium.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of These countries had never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle.
For nearly an hour, Trump bounced between lecturing world leaders
Your countries are going to hell.
and offering to help fix their problems, urging them to enforce strict borders and abandon green policies.
If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
And he admonished countries like Canada that recognize the Palestinian state.
The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities.
But some of his sharpest criticisms were for the UN itself.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve.
Trump's speech vastly different from the Secretary General's, who opened the UN's 80th session defending its purpose.
The United Nations has never been more essential. The world needs our unique legitimacy, our convening power.
And also rallying the world to champion clean energy.
Excellencies, fossil fuels are a losing bet.
The clashing of those ideas clear. But when the two leaders sat down for a meeting right after their speeches, a stark change in tone.
We are entirely at your disposal to be able to work together.
Now on the global stage today, U.S. President.
Comments turned off. Comments turned off. Oh.
On this Tuesday night, the U.S. president takes on the world.
Just 8 months into my administration.
See why I don't stream? Then you're never going to be satisfied. But he clearly satisfying. It's certainly don't use pulse rifles or smart cannons. Prodigy warning how it ended open. Aliens Gaming Universe says I'm mixed on the ending.
Alien Earth, man. What a shame.
Houston, you're looking good for separation. You're a go for separation. Columbia, over.
On July 20th, 1969, just moments after the Apollo 11 lunar module began its descent to the moon, a warning light flashed in the cockpit.
1202. 1202 alarm. 1202. Stand by.
The spacecraft's computer had overloaded and rebooted, and no one knew why. As Houston scrambled to find an answer, an anxious Neil Armstrong requested more information.
Give us a reading on the 1202 program alarm.
Back on Earth, few were more nervous than a young computer programmer who had written the code for the lunar landing.
We were landing on the moon the first time. It's not surprising there were problems. My name is Don Isles. I wrote a good part of the computer code for the onboard computer that was active during the lunar landing phase of the Apollo mission.
Isles' career at NASA began as a happy accident.
This was the summer of 1966, and I'd just turned 23. I was walking back home from a rather dispiriting interview, I think at an insurance company. At that point, I would have taken any job that anyone offered me. when I happened by the MIT instrumentation lab and walked in cold and asked for a job.
He had never written a line of code. Even so, Isles was offered a position. That day, he joined an army of over 400,000 scientists, engineers, and technicians working on the most ambitious engineering project in human history.
No one knew how to land on the moon yet, just as no one knew how to, program the computer, and we would figure out both.
Hello. Today, we're at the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory, which has been given design responsibility for this guidance and navigation system, which will direct our Apollo spacecraft on the way to the moon and back.
In 1969, this was the most sophisticated machine ever created. Before Apollo, computers had mostly been vast behemoths, often taking up entire rooms or floors of buildings.
Now, you say this computer is very much like land-based computers, and yet I think of them as occupying whole bays of equipment. You've got all this squeezed into a little box. How did you do that?
What was revolutionary about the Apollo computer was that it was the first use of integrated circuits, which allowed for a much smaller and faster machine.
The computer was 1 cubic foot. It was roughly 6 inches by a foot, about 2 feet, and weighed, I believe, about 70 pounds.
Despite these advancements, the Apollo computer's limitations presented formidable challenges.
We were dealing with a computer that was very limited, both in terms of its memory capacity and its operation speed. What this book in front of me is a listing of the flight code for the lunar module for the Apollo 11 mission. This represents the contents of 36,036K words of memory.
To give you an idea of just how small 36K of memory is, an average email message today is about 75K.
Ultimately, for flight, the information in a book like this would be woven into a type of memory called core rope that was super reliable. The result of that was 6 modules like the one in my hand, and these modules would be slid into slots in the back of the computer. And that would be the code. That was equivalent to plugging the CD-ROM into your early Mac.
Memory was so precious. The code that Isles and his colleagues wrote had to both do its job and also do so in as few characters as possible.
When you write a piece of code, you're writing something that needs to, in as few words as possible, convey an idea. But at the same time, it needs to fall trippingly off the tongue of the central processor. You could call it a lapidary sort of art, in the sense that you were dealing with small things and trying to get them just right.
So what was happening during Apollo 11's landing when the computer was overloaded?
1202 alarm. 1202. Standing by.
The computer's display was flashing error codes 1201 and 1202, but the astronauts didn't know what those alarms meant. And for 50 years, neither has much of the world. It all happened so fast. Not even the programmers who designed it were sure just what was happening.
There are many new things that are happening in this flight. There are big dangers involved, despite the best our technology can do, and our technology does do very well.
Right here, you see the 1201 and 1202 codes. At the time, we were sort of holding our breath. What is going to happen next? Is the spacecraft going to keep flying okay? Or is it going to somehow go out of control?
They got a momentary alarm on their system.
As the spacecraft began its final descent to the moon, a terrified Isles came to the conclusion that the mission was doomed.
There was a pit of the stomach feeling. If it had been up to me, I probably would have recommended an abort.
But flight controllers in Houston had a better perspective. Soon after the alarm started, Mission Control realized that the computer was still running the critical guidance and navigation systems.
Eagle, Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
Rather than abort, they made the courageous decision for Apollo to proceed. Neil Armstrong took over control of the craft, and Apollo, of course, landed safely on the moon.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
There was no sense of blame. There was no one calling and saying, you fools, what did you do to us? But there were questions being asked. It was up to us to figure out what had happened.
The alarm issues were traced to an obscure condition in which a radar, accidentally turned on flooded the computer with unnecessary data.
The alarms were saying there's no more storage space. We're going to flush everything and sort of reconstruct it, do what you would call a restart.
Isle's code wasn't bad. On the contrary, it had done exactly what it was supposed to do. The issue was caused by human error in the hardware. Someone had accidentally flipped a switch when it shouldn't have been flipped.
It was determined that, in fact, the switches were set up in such a fashion that this weird condition could occur.
For his part, Isle stayed on at NASA, and his code was deployed successfully in every Apollo mission.
What was developed was actually extremely advanced for the time, and in some ways it's more advanced than some of what's being used today in real-time systems, because the greater speed and greater memory of today's computers don't force you to be as compact as we had to.
What? No! Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're doing a Nuzlocke again. If you didn't see the last video, check it out. I'll try to remember to...
Fuck that shit, dude. Gentlemen, I'll be right back. Yo, homie, it lays eggs in the fucking brain? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
I told all this to the other officer.
Mm. Look, I kind of want to watch a movie. I don't know what to watch though. Look, you kind of want to watch the Truman Show. My daughter loves this bullshit. This zig shark bullshit here. She loves this. Fucking garbage. Some brain rot bullshit, man. Um, what do we do here, Truman? Well, I'm going to stop the stream, boys. It's been a pleasure. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Peace out.